I watch downstairs. I watch from downstairs.
Good
Three
evening,
and a half.
everyone. Oh, we have not yet?
3 1/4.
Okay.
2.9. Oh, shoot. Video unavailable.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Baby. Start.
We ready yet? We don't have to wait for the online. Online can catch up with us.
Can catch up.
Yeah, let's just go for it. It may or may not be on YouTube right now.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 13th, 2024 meeting of the Village Board Trustees here in the Village of Nyack. Would you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. It's nice to see you. We had I think an extra week between meetings, so we had a little bit of a break. It's good to see everybody back. I want to just take a moment for the mayor's introduction to congratulate. Since we have last been seen, we had a wonderful African American Day parade. Congratulations to the NAACP as well as to all the private organizers who put it together. That was last Saturday, a week ago Saturday.
Yep.
And then last Sunday was the Pride Day with a very successful parade, and then a kind of a bunch of speeches, and then a very nice kind of street fair type festival that they had afterwards. Two very successful events. Tonight, both forces came together for a barbecue, which I was not able to make, but I know that some of the trustees were able to be there. I know that Andy stopped by. So congratulations to, I think, Pride and NAACP for a block party over at Hezekiah Easter Park, Easter Square, and hopefully they had a nice turnout and are having a good time. I just did stop in. We have a wonderful opening of a new restaurant right next to Village Hall called Burger Loft, which is an outpost of it's owned by the same people that own the Burger Loft and a couple other restaurants in the city. We welcomed them to Nyack. I went in and had something to eat and something to drink, and it was lovely. And I'm very happy to have them here in Nyack. All right, so for today's meeting, we have a series of public hearings, none of which should take too much time because they're all issues that we've talked about at length. We have a meeting on mandatory minimum attendance of land use board members to change the order that development applications require review. We then have one to change architecture review board approval requirements, as well as there's one to exempt from certain situations planning board review and approval. So those four hearings, those cannot start until after 8 o'clock. So we will start them after 8 o'clock. In the meantime, can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from May 23rd?
Motion.
Second, I have a problem with the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, in the old business. Amendment of the DMU 2 zone. It's not exactly correct, but it's listed. It says eliminated requirement to have ground floor retail.
Well, we didn't do that. That was already done. Okay.
And the four elements, move ground floor setback 15 feet, add a setback 32 feet, should be at a setback of 5 feet at 32 feet.
Okay. We got that? Two changes. One, just strike the reference to the retail space because that wasn't part of our, we probably referenced it, but it wasn't part of any of our decision making. And then change the reference to the 32 feet to make it that it's a 5-foot setback after we're changing the setback at ground level from 10 to 15 feet and adding a 5-foot setback at 32 feet. Yes, that's it. Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes as amended by trustee Carlin?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we have a series of action items that will require voting. We will have public comment on those items as they come up rather than have to do the public comment up top. So if you have a comment on any of those action items, feel free to get your name in. Or if we come to them, you have a comment, please come to the podium. It's a podium, right? Not a lectern. Please come to the podium. There's a difference between those two things. People don't realize that. Please come to the podium and you can raise your question or comment. We start with action item 5.1, resolution 2024-79, accepting the audited voucher summary. Can I get the motion on the floor?
Second.
Any discussion or comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Action item 5.2, resolution 2024-80 to approve a contract with Whitson's Nutrition to supply meals for the NIAC Summer Food Program. Can I get it on the table?
Motion. Second.
Okay, comment, discussion. Andy, just give us did we change vendors for this year?
Yes,
And why?
because Aramark didn't get the school district bid, so they didn't bid on ours either. The winner of the school district food program did bid on ours and provided pricing which were acceptable.
Okay, so you can see the pricing is a proposed cost of, and you can see they go very far into the decimal points, $2.9585 per breakfast meal and 5.21805 per lunch. The estimated cost is about $42,569 for the summer. This is a wonderful program that we do. It's actually mostly offset by or paid for by federal funds.
Right,
State funds?
State is the conduit.
State is the conduit for the federal funds. So this doesn't cost us much out of pocket. It's a wonderful thing we do for the summer food program. Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5.3, resolution 24-81 to approve an agreement with the NIAC Center to provide to the Downtown Ambassadors Program for $15,500. Can I get it on the table?
Second.
All right, this is that program we've talked about at length, the Ambassador Program. We'd have pairs of students, either late high school or early college, that would get paid a hourly rate to walk in pairs on the street and give directions and answer questions and help people with the park mobile and answer questions about the parking requirements and give, hey, here's where you can hand out leaflets and things like that. I think it's a wonderful program. It's modeled on a program in Pittsburgh.
Pittsfield,
Pitts-
Massachusetts.
Pittsfield, Massachusetts, not Pittsburgh. I think I said Pittsburgh. I think I've been saying all along it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsfield, Massachusetts, two very different places. One of which has a football and baseball team, the other of which has the Ambassador Program. So this is a great program. It's going to be wonderful. Put a friendly face on the street. Anybody have any comments or questions about it?
Yes, one question. I know the original intention was sort of help curb some of the mental health crises that we may have. What was the shift, I guess?
No, they were never supposed to do that.
Oh.
They're supposed to be eyes and ears. So what they will be is if they see something going on, they're going to be trained to make the phone call to the police, not to intercede. They're not supposed to do any de-escalation or anything like that. That should be left to we don't want 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds having that responsibility. The constable is the constable or the
Quality of life.
quality of life code enforcement officer. If we don't get the constable title, that person will be responsible for that. But this is more to put a friendly face as well as eyes and ears on the street.
Do we know if the center has kids ready, kids on standby, training started?
What Kim has said, and it's wonderful, she's excited about doing this program, and she's highly capable, is that they have regularly recruit people to work in their camp program,
Mhm.
and they can't use all of them, so she has a good kind of pipeline.
Okay.
And also the YMCA has offered to collaborate because they have the same thing. They hire people as lifeguards and other jobs.
Okay.
And they're a good source of referrals. Plus you have the youth bureau, the county youth bureau similarly has a pipeline. So I think we're optimistic we'll find some really great young people.
That's great. And give young people some employment jobs.
Yeah.
Great.
And I sent you something. We have the county does provide some funding for
That's the
summer
youth,
jobs.
that's the youth employment program. the youth
Okay.
bureau, yeah.
And we're gonna be able to take advantage of that, you think?
So that's Kim's charge and she may,
Okay.
she'll work on that.
And we got federal fund, we got state funding for this, and we want to thank Ken Zabrowski, Senator Zabrowski, for getting us the funding for this program. It was really great that he did that, and very great, really grateful to the Assembly for approving it, for getting us the money to do this. It could be really, really nice win-win, get kids something to do, get people on the street, put a friendly face on everything. So that's good. Any other comments or questions? All right, can I take a vote? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5.4, resolution 24-82, approving a grant application for repairs to the north bulkhead of the Village Marina and the inlet shoreline. Can I get it on the table?
Second.
Yeah, this is something we've done before. We've not had it granted before. We have to fix a bulkhead where the old River Club restaurant used to be. That's kind of a prerequisite for doing anything down there. We've been really eager to get some funding to do it, and we've not been able to secure it. So this is one more chance to do it, to try to get some money out of the, which one? The New York State Consolidated Funding Application. And let's hope that we get it this time.
Sure.
How much funding are we looking for? How much is this grant for?
The application will be for about $500,000.
It's not insubstantial. It's a lot of money to fix that. That's why we don't want to do it ourselves. If it was 20 grand, we just would take care of it.
Is that the cost of the grant? Or-
We don't have a full budget analysis yet. Our village engineer is working on it. The last application came to about $450,000. We're adding a little bit to this one to try to make it more attractive to the funder. And so my guesstimate is it'll be a little north of $500,000.
Can I make a suggestion? After this is done, so we get the funding and we're able to fix the buildings. Before a restaurant goes up, which would again take a time, to make a platform and with a railing around it, and maybe have food vendors on the platform selling, selling food, start making it a nexus for the.
That's definitely something we're planning on doing. I actually thought about getting some food trucks down there to make it, you'd have a little picnic area, put some tables out. You can't do anything now because it's all rough space right now. It's got all the pylons sitting through and everything else. But yeah, I agree with you that. So in the meantime, we should try to get something down there. There should be some, there's a lot of plans for the waterfront, but in the meantime, we should try to get something down there. I agree with that. If we get this thing fixed, we can't do anything until we get this
Is it
footing fixed.
the hope that last year's visit from the secretary might help bolster that? Or,
We just keep trying,
okay,
keep trying.
because I know we toured him around, we showed him what we needed, so.
We had this application in our DRI. We had another CFA after that. It's
Okay.
next.
For which, so I didn't hear that, for which,
DRI, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, and then the CFA.
Last year, the
Oh,
Secretary Rodriguez had come to visit, well, it was for a big check
For the waterfront.
for the
walkway.
waterfront walkway, but he also, we strategically took them, or I'd say Andy
We showed
strategically
it around.
showed him around with the hopes that that would help
intent?
hint bolster the applications. Yeah. That was a good day.
I want to share with you, that these are the kind of texts I got. I got a text from my mother who says that the mayor of Piermont is playing in a band on the flywheel. And why don't you do stuff like that? This is my life.
All we get is a
This is
problem.
my, speaking of the waterfront, why am I not down there with the banjo playing at the waterfront like real cool mayors like they have in Piermont? My mom, who lives in Piermont, sends me that message while I'm in the middle of a meeting. Anyway, back to the getting this thing fixed. Let's any further comment? All in favor?
Bye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5.5, resolution 2024-83. Resolution to amend the code of zoning. Oh, wait, we're not at 8 o'clock yet. We gotta get this one.
You can skip over to some of the special event stuff.
Architecture review board, what's the number?
Maybe about page 10 or so. Wait, no.
5.8, might be 5.9. We're gonna skip over to 5.9. Resolution of the board, resolution 24-86, approving the closure of the RDP Village lot for the Summer of Soul film and sing-along event on Sunday, August 18th. Can I get it on the table?
Second.
This is the drive-in film that we've talked about, as well as there's going to be an element of some talking about the Jackson Avenue documentary, or about the Jackson Avenue, the events that led to the documentary. Any comments or questions? I want to thank the organizers for taking into consideration some of the comments I'd given them, and they moved it to Sunday from Saturday, which is just in terms of taking up all the parking from the restaurants and things like that. I think it's a more amenable day, and I hope it works out beautifully. Anything else? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Resolution action item 510, resolution 24-87, approving a permit application for an event in Memorial Park by Jill Varghese, Ignite Church, Memorial Park, Upper Lawn, Sunday, August 18th, from 4 to 6 p.m. Can I get on the table?
Motion.
All right. By way of just explanation for everyone, please recognize we are very careful about approving group events in Memorial Park. Generally, we are particularly careful this year because we've closed the lower lawn, the great lawn, for reseating. So all we have is the upper lawn. And we take into consideration how long your event is going to be, when it's going to be, is it at a high traffic time, whether you're using the whole field or not the whole field, how much big it's going to be, whether you have amplified music and things like this. This is only for 2 hours on a Sunday evening in August. I don't think it's that unreasonable a use of the space. So I'd be in favor of it. But any other comments or questions?
Being that we only have the top part open, it's very important, I guess, with music and sound, that, because there are people that live on that street. So as long as they're not, I guess the volume of the music or whatever needs to be taken into consideration a little bit more because of that.
Let's make sure we send our notes to them about keeping, being respectful to neighbors on a Sunday evening.
Yeah, we've had that discussion actually already.
They've done this before, right? This is not the first year they've done this.
It's not the first year. Last year they were down in the gazebo and they were quite loud.
They were loud.
And I talked to them about that, and the mayor kind of talked to them. And they have agreed, their equipment is literally gonna be smaller. They have some acoustic instruments and a PA system, which is, they vouch, is nowhere near as loud as the net.
Okay, I think there was also some commentary last year about there being long speeches of very aggressive nature that I'd like to make sure we talk to them about. But they're free speech, they have right to free speech, but like we're hoping the amplified system is used largely for music and to celebrate things like that. But I think generally we try to be open to the use by people that members of the community. Anybody else?
When we get so many events in approved and will approved, is there any way to get a calendar?
Yeah, let's have it.
Calendar that shows all the events and that we can actually visually see it instead of just seeing the.
Yes.
date?
I'll print one for you.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. That's 5.10. Motion carries unanimously. 5.11, resolution 24-88, approving a permit application for the summer concert series in Memorial Park. Can I get it on the table?
Motion.
Second.
Can we just for the record strike the letter A between for and the in the second line of the title? I don't think it really matters, but just for cleanliness, hygiene's sake. And this is obviously the thing that they do every year. Everyone's been asking about it. They've got their dates, they've got their bands. It's Tuesday nights. We give them the space from 3 to 10, but that's just for setup. The concert usually starts around, I think, 7, runs for like an hour and a half. And everybody's welcome. And it basically, other than the stage, pretty much the rest of the lawn is usable by anybody. Let us remind them as well about the fact that they're not down at the waterfront anymore. They're now up in more of a neighborhood area, and for their sound purposes, be aware of that. Anything else?
So because of that, so 10 o'clock, can it start an hour earlier and finish an hour earlier? 10 o'clock is.
Do they go till 10?
No, usually
I think
not.
that's just for breakdown.
When do they go to?
I think they go to like 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock? Okay, if that's the case, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that they need the
Hours.
three, they don't start at 3 either. They
No,
do.
they start later, like 7 to 9 or something like that.
Just to make sure they finish it.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure, in fact, when we have a second, I'll text the people at the service to just remind them of that. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5.13, what? I'm sorry. 5.12, resolution, this is 2024-89, approving a permit application for a series of free line dancing events on the Viewing Pier Memorial Park by Kwame Williams. That's June 9th, 16th, and 23rd, 5 to 8 p.m. Sorry?
There's a typo in here, June 9th, it's already passed,
Ah,
obviously. It was
Right.
supposed to be 16, 23, and 30.
16, 23,
Yeah, Mr.
and
Williams.
30.
Emailed me and said,
Okay, yeah, let's fix that, because otherwise we can't go back in time.
16,
23 and 30. They're gonna be on Sunday nights from 5 to 8 p.m. Doing free line dancing. And we'll see how it goes. He wants to do it more regularly, but let's see how it plays.
is that gonna, anybody else from going? Except for dancing onto the, viewing pier?
Oh, wait, hold, oh, okay. That's- Are we sure we got all these dates right? I'm just making sure, because the last one was also the 9/13. They just did the same, everything's on the same date? 9/16/23 in July, 9/16/23/30. Okay, Sundays in June. All right, yeah, they're fine.
and to answer
Anything else we have on one of those days?
question, I think it's unlikely there'll be a huge turnout. And it's open to the public. Like, anybody can walk onto the pier and either participate or not.
Or watch, or
Or
whatever.
watch people.
I'm just nervous about with all these events and, especially with the Great Lawn closed. We're limiting the amount of space that people can go to. You know, it's nice to go on a Sunday afternoon, I do it. You go to, some dancing to it. But, it's, I don't know, it seems to me that we're approving a lot of these, events in Memorial Park. You know, we have to think about the general population, the resident. Can they only do one, and then see how it goes?
Let's get that calendar so we can see, because there's a lot of days in the summer. And we've probably booked 10 of them, you know, out of the 90 days in summer. So, yeah, we saw the calendar, maybe we looked at quite some proposing. But let's approve at least the first one. When's our next meeting?
The 27th.
All right, so let's approve the, my suggestion would be to approve well, they're all coming up. They're all right in the next 3 weeks. Can we just cut it to 6 to 8 p.m.? From 5 to 8, 3 hours is a long time to do line dancing. Who's doing line dancing in 3 hours? Maybe I'm all. We cut it to 2 hours, a little bit easier, especially a little later in the night, not quite during the afternoon hours. The 5 o'clock, 6 to 8. So let's do it 6 to 8 for those. I would just do it. We told them last week when we were doing it for the dates. We told them he wanted to do it every Sunday. So we already cut him back. So let's give him those dates. Let's cut the hours just a little bit.
That's the 16th
And
and
then-
then 23rd. And the 30th.
The 16th, 20th, and 30th. So it's like literally in 3 days, which he's probably already been preparing for and inviting people to.
Yeah.
And I wish him luck.
Yeah, I have no problems
All right.
in general, but you have to think about, the rest of the.
So let's fix those dates, the 3 dates that were actually proposed, and limit the time to 6 to 8 p.m. And with that, with those amendments, everybody good?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Okay.
All opposed? Motion carries. 5.13, oh my God, this didn't go on. 5.13, resolution 2490, gospel music events at Hezekiah Easter Park on June 21, July 19th, and August 2nd from 4:30 to 6:30. These are on, I believe, Friday nights. Yes, Friday nights, July 19th and July.
No, that's June 21st.
Am I missing something?
June 21st.
Oh, it's a Friday nights.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night.
So those are 2 days, it's 3 days.
It's 3 days, June 21st, July 19th, August 2nd. They're all on Friday nights, 4:30 to 6:30. This is one where I do think that we should keep an eye on and see what the reaction is within the downtown, because I really don't want to put music in the downtown that's going to interfere with, we need these businesses that are along Main Street to do well. A lot of them have outdoor seating. If it starts to interfere with the outdoor seating and we get complaints, then I think we cut it back. It's just 6:30 is around the 5 to 6 is sort of their happy hour time. So I'm a little nervous about this one because I don't know that, they all have music inside, and music outside competing would be a little difficult. I'm willing to do it, try it out in June 21, and then the other ones are much later. So why don't we approve the first two in this one? Approve the first two, not August 2nd, June 21 and July 19th, so he can make his planning, invite people and stuff like that. But hold off on the third one until we get feedback on the first two. Because I'm nervous about putting live music in the square, because we got to be cognizant of the fact that we want people going into the stores, we want people going into the bars, we want people going into the restaurants. We don't want to pull them out of it. It's why we don't generally do a lot of events like in the prime shopping times and the holidays. We don't do a lot of events down by the park. It takes people away from the downtown. Is everybody good with that? 2 days instead of 3, the first two? You got that, Linda? All right, so all in favor? All opposed? Remember, you can make public comments on any of these if you come up to the table, if you come up to the podium. Number 5.14, resolution 2491, approving a permit application for a music event during Classic Car Night on July 11th. Mark Mangan wants to use Easter Square. He doesn't have the timing here, but it's a musical event featuring students from the Rock Shop. And his idea, can I get on the table?
Second.
All right, his idea is that Classic Car Night, he wants to kind of combine Classic Car Night with the fact that when the students from the Rock Shop play, they bring all their friends, they bring their family, so you get a big crowd coming down. This is definitely something that Mark is thinking about in terms of helping the local businesses, to have a good night on July 11th, which is a Thursday.
Thursday.
There's a
Thursday.
There's a board meeting.
Of course there is.
There's a board meeting. So we will miss Classic Car Night, most of it anyway. And we will not be able to see the students from the Rock Shop, but I think this is a worthwhile thing. I trust Mark to do a good job. He's very cognizant of the needs of the business owners, and he does everything. He's very good at what he does. Any comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. That's 5.14. 5.15. Well, this is I'm going to turn the page. It's going to be approving what? Resolution 2492, approving a permit application for plein air painting event by Hopper House, July 14th, 2024. Can I get on the table?
So second.
This is a event, I believe they got grant funding from they might have gotten grant funding from I'm not 100% sure, from the night, from us, from us, not Visit Night. It's our money, our money. That's what money. Transmitted through Visit Nyack and managed by Visit Nyack, the Nyack Tourism Grant Program. I believe that they did apply for something. I think it was this. It's July 14th, rain date July 21st. And the idea is that people will get training on painting sort of the way that, sort of al fresco. Right.
It's an open air paint, in other words, not in the studio. That's what.
Is that what clean is? Clean is the French term?
Outdoor.
French for outside.
It's French for outside? Why can't they just call it al fresco? That's Italian for outside. It's just
Yeah, but
fancy.
fresco is another thing, it's wall, plaster.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, fresco.
I thought al fresco was outside.
Artists.
All right.
More importantly, what do you have against the French?
I have nothing. I have nothing at all against the French. I love their fries. I love their toast. Thank you for the help. This is what we need public comment for, is to help us when we run aground on various definitions of foreign terms. Anyway, this is a lovely event. Any further comments are beyond my nonsense? Any further comments or questions?
What time, what's the, is it a whole day event? Is it a couple of hours?
I think it's the better part of the day. I have to double check. It's low impact. We're talking about people setting up an easel somewhere in the park, painting a tree.
And they'll also be all over the, up and down, like, aren't they gonna also be at the hood?
I think they're gonna be in different places, yeah. They just need our permission.
Yeah,
They need our permission to be in the park, that's all.
yeah.
Any comments or any further comment, question? All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That is fine. Final action item 5.16, resolution 2493. A resolution adopting the retention and disposition schedule for the New York local government records issued pursuant to 57A of the Arts and Cultural Affairs. What is all that? Oh, I'm sorry, can I get on the table?
Second.
Now, what is all that?
I'll defer to Linda. To explain what that is.
Yeah, no. This is our records retention schedule. Now they had adopted this New York State. And we had to adopt it in order to get rid of the updated, it's an updated version of the retention schedule, basically.
Sounds exciting. Sounds awesome.
But legally, we had to do.
You don't do it al fresco though, you do it right, it's inside.
Yeah.
Good. All right, any comments or questions? All right, all in favor?
Bye.
Aye, well done. Thank you for explaining. That's us.
One more.
Now we have one more, 5.17, resolution 24-94. A resolution approving a New York State Department of Transportation Equitable Business Opportunities System User Agreement. Another very easily understood resolution that goes on for a page and a half. What's the basic idea?
Basic idea is that public works contracts require compliance with federal civil rights, procurement related laws. And you show compliance by using this portal the state has created. And you can only use it if you sign this user agreement.
We put another motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I put a motion on the floor. I'm sorry, can I get on the floor? Can I get?
Motion. Second.
Now, Andy, can you explain what this is? Let's stipulate to the fact that Andy's already explained it. Any further comments or questions about it? Thank you for correcting me. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? Resolution 24-94 passes. We're moving up on our 100th resolution of the year. That will be there's gonna be balloons that drop down. Like when you at the supermarket, when you're the 1,000th customer. All right, it's now after 8 o'clock. Correct me, since I just screwed up something very simple. Dennis, correct me as to is there a public hearing already open that we have to continue, or do I need to open it?
Andy would be the better one.
Andy, do we have an open public hearing already
These are
on
all,
8 o'clock?
they were all
Continue.
continued.
All right. So a motion to continue the public hearing that we had on the,
No, you just, we're now
we're now continuing I need a motion. I'm just on my own, plenary authority. I'm continuing the,
Just specify which public hearing.
yes, on the mandatory minimum meeting attendance by land use board members. We have talked about this at some length. The idea being that if you're gonna be on the land use boards, you should turn up for a percentage of the meetings or else risk losing your membership on the board. We're very grateful for all of our land use board members of the various boards. They all volunteer, they all do a lot of hard work, and it's generally it generally is a thankless job. So let me take the opportunity to thank them. But otherwise, do we have any comments or questions on the resolution from the board? Do we have any public comment on the resolution?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking about 3 meetings a year, we're at 25% of the meetings.
It's, hold on 1 second, it's 3, and if you miss any 3 meetings within a 12-month period. So any 12-month, anything. So let's say if you miss a meeting in July, September, and following year
So it's
in
not a
February, it's not a count. Within any 12-month period.
So as soon as you miss, the calendar starts, you can miss two more within the next 12 months.
Exactly.
Have you spoken to the various east boards about
They brought it to us.
state boards?
And it did go for an advisory opinion recommendation to planning board. Can't recall what they said. I think they approved it.
They
They
did.
only comments in the resolution. I think they approved it.
And this board has discussed it and asked for it to be for vote.
Which board?
This board. You.
I know that we discussed it, but I just want to know if they, sorry, we have,
They,
We don't have any official communication other than the plan board, but I can tell you as a witness.
Yeah.
I sit at every board except for the ZBA. Steve Norton was exceptional chairman. And he doesn't want any attorneys there on him because he knows what he's doing and he doesn't need any help. And I say that in all sincerity. He's a brilliant.
so in the
he's a
other
brilliant
boards,
attorney. So the other boards, the architecture review board, the planning board, and what's the other?
that's the two that are left.
They complain regularly about attendance, the lack of attendance. So they're behind this, and the planning board did give us formal, maybe a one sentence memorandum that they approved the adoption.
go on in. Go on in.
All right, any other comments or questions? Any public comment? All right, and call the question. All in favor of the resolution, actually, I should read off I should get the number of the resolution. It was resolution.
Can we close the?
Oh, I gotta close the public hearing first? Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now resolution, which one? It's, item 5.5, resolution 83 of 2024, the resolution to amend the zoning to require mandatory minimum meeting attendance by land use board members. All in favor? All opposed? So all in favor again? Can I get an all in favor count again? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for your attention. It's after 8:05, so I'm gonna now, I did forget.
Oh, okay.
I
know.
Don't be so technical.
You just reference which public hearing that you're.
I'm opening up the 8:05 public hearing to modify the order that development applications require review by multiple decision-making bodies are scheduled for review. This public hearing regards the now development applications will go first to the planning board and then to the architecture review board, which reverses the order that we previously had. We've discussed this on many occasions. Do I have any comment from the public on this matter? Comments from the board?
Finally,
Honestly.
I've
We're
never,
finishing all the family business today.
I've never understood. I just never, thank you for getting this done.
All right.
Thank us for getting it.
Well, thank Andy for getting
Makes a big
it.
difference.
And thank you, Dennis, for drafting it all and all that. Any other comments? Any public comments? Motion, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
That's it.
All in favor? Okay, can I get a motion to put on resolution
5.6.
5.6, resolution 83 of 2024? Can I get a motion to put that on the table?
Second.
Okay, any comment?
Which one?
This is the same, it was the one we're talking. The one, the order of
Oh,
review.
yeah.
Can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It is now after 8:10, so we can continue the public hearing about the ARB review of certain changes to exterior elevations of single family and two family residences. Any comment from the public on this public hearing? This legislation. Comment from the board. This would be resolution 84. We talked about this at some length.
Yes.
Everybody good with it? All right, can I get any comment from the public? One more chance. All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. Can I get a motion to put resolution 84 on the table?
So
Second.
Any comment or question on resolution 84? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Is it not quite 8:15? So, we have, let's get to the,
New communications.
let's do communications. We'll cover that. We can cover that in a couple of minutes and get it done. We have two communications. One is the Oktoberfest event application from Travis and the motorcycle event application from the Bridge. Those materials are in my, I don't have the printout, I have them here. This is just for discussion. So any comments? Anybody here to talk about those issues?
yeah, I want to talk about this motorcycle event application.
Well, let's go one at a time.
Okay.
Let's talk about Travis first. Travis wants to do his Oktoberfest. He's also putting in for a grant from the tourism grant. My sense is he's going to get a grant to do it. He did it last year. It was very successful. It's been a good event. He's a good merchant or a good business owner in our community. He's a member of the business council. He contributes effectively. And he just wants it's a small street closure, which I believe he's paying for. The grant, remember, the tourism grants do not pay for operations, they only pay for marketing. So he's gonna pay for the street closure of the one kind of half block of Franklin. And he's had terrible weather, but good events every time he's done it.
Yeah,
Any questions or comments about this?
Last year was, I don't
it
remember.
rained
that.
in the beginning and then that's.
Oh, it did, right.
Yeah, we had tons
So that
of,
was a
yeah.
very, very small area.
And you know, it's really.
A lot of people, it gets a lot of people. Reminds me a lot of what they
That's
do.
really nicely contained, it's quiet.
All right, do we generally want to get a resolution on this for next time? This is in October, it's well after summer, and it's not in the
Yeah.
park. That's why it's October,
Yeah.
it's not July Fest. All right, Andy, I think the sense of the board is that we'll entertain a motion to do this at the next meeting. The next item, the communication about the Bridge bar wanting to do a there's our
Motorcycle action.
motorcycle bike show. And I believe that I'm lost. There's too many things in this paperwork. I can't find the paperwork on it. Is there a page that paperwork's on?
Yeah, it's, well, it's,
Oh, here we go. It's an email. It's just an email. From the Bridge Nyack. They want to do a custom bike show, a vendor village. Does it involve street closure?
it's not,
Vendor village, it seems like there'd be a street closure.
it's not absolutely clear. Mark did speak with them.
Mark Mangan.
He did not offer to sort of carry their application per se, but there seem to be alternative ways of doing it. Using just their interior in the parking lane as opposed to stopping traffic.
Okay.
Because you park all the bikes along the street, and people can look at them and then they can do their thing inside. That would be one approach. It's not a plan which answers all the questions the board might have. If you want me to work with them to try to develop it.
Well, here's the thing. I asked you about this and you had a question. I'll get your question in a second. My question when this first came in was that this is a building that we know has had violations in the past. And I want to know were there any open violations on that building right now?
The answer is no.
There are none. Manny has looked into that.
Right.
So they've closed all their problems. Okay, your question.
Again, it's stressing the downtown area. I don't know when we're gonna do this. But with all the street closures, all the parades, everything. Car show, we have a regular car show, right? Exotic car show.
Right, that's a street closure.
That's street closure.
The car show is there gonna be another car show?
Exotic closes.
So exotic is a closure.
Yeah.
Because the other one's just in the parking lot.
That one's in the river space lot. So classic is in river space lot.
Right, that's not gonna create a closure of the streets. I don't know, it seems to me that it's stressing and I might be wrong, but I think we should talk with some of the, restaurants and shops and see what they think, because they are always complaining that the streets are being closed, or parades and all the things happening, that some restaurants love it, but there are shop owners who hate it. That's the only thing that I'm worried. More and more, these events, and, staple shop owners and restaurant, they're the ones who maintain or keep the downtown the way it is. So that's the question is, when did they propose it? What hours? What are the impacts to Main Street? And if they have a buy-in from the neighbors, from the shop owners and restaurants.
That's all very good points. Anybody else?
I have a couple points. One, I am too concerned about the bridge and how many complaints we've heard from that building, just from like, and I'm not talking about violations, I'm really thinking about noise complaints.
Noise complaints on this
So
Thursday
I'd
night.
be,
which is
yeah, I'd be a little worried about having this event, given some of those complaints. But also as well, just to sort of Joe's point, these amenities are really good for the downtown. It does give people things to do. It does increase foot traffic and tourism. While I do think we do need to strike a balance, I do like seeing that there are sort of a, there's always something happening in the village, because I think that does help attract people to come in downtown, which is a boom to our businesses, because there is a complaint that we do hear that we don't have enough foot traffic going in. So events like this would be helpful to that, but I also do want to balance the needs of the residents, and especially with that building, the noise complaints that we continually heard from them,
Especially on bike night.
especially on bike nights. So, I mean, I'm glad they're coming for a permit now, but I'm concerned about that part. So I would like to see more detail.
Yeah, I think we need more, and they gotta post
Yeah.
a date at least, and
Timeframe.
when they wanna do it. But I think you should express to them some more concerns about the noise problems that we had just on their normal bike night. I mean, I hear them because I'm downtown on Thursday nights, because I go get pizza after the meeting. And I called in, and there was a guy going back and forth on Main Street, just revving it up, and he was, by the third time he went by, I called up the OPD. I mean, he clearly had a muffler that had been modified to make it noisier. So I have some concerns about that, but I want to help out all the businesses. They're a business in town. They're in a building that at least has cleaned up its violations that it had previously. So I'm not gonna hold that against them. But this is not a proposal yet, so they gotta make a proposal, that I'm talking about. Alright. Was there any public comments on this? Okay. I'm sorry, yes, go ahead.
Have you stepped outside
In,
heard the,
since when?
since I walked in?
Oh, no, I've
But
been here.
it's emanating from the,
Is it already noisy there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about.
I'm just saying is that, there's an example, you have to go around and,
You're talking about the
the
bridge.
beat, the bridge or whatever, well.
Woolworths, yeah. Well, that's what we just said. I said that last 2 weeks ago, right now it's
as
noisy.
we speak, if you step outside and walk around the corner, and, man,
No, I'm sure we can. I saw them sort of lining, getting,
I could hear.
prepped, to, like, even as I was walking down, like, it was.
I mean, you know what? I have the guy reach out to me directly. I'll tell him exactly what the problem is, right? Let's not hide the ball here. The ball is that they are not being responsible to the local community on every Thursday night. So the chances of them getting a special night all to themselves and closing the street in any kind of fashion is not likely. That people have asked them, they're not being responsive, and they're bringing in people who are deliberately making noise on late. I mean, it's not that late yet, but when it gets late, people trying to sleep on Main Street, it's not right. I agree with you, Jim. I think that's the point I was making earlier. Anything else? No, I'll cut you off.
No, thank you very
All right.
Just one.
I can't, yeah, we can't hear him now. We haven't been outside, but I'll go check it out when I leave. Leave the meeting. All right, it is now, I'm sorry.
I'm like, well, just like a little bit, it's faint,
Can you hear it?
obviously, because this is not, but it does sound like there's a lot of activity.
So the air conditioning is drowning out the lights.
A couple of weeks ago, I had the same experience as Jack, and I went in there and spoke to the manager,
Please. Oh,
and he was telling me, what noise you know.
Yeah, I mean, check, like.
He said, we could talk, we went out on the street, and he said, you could hear me talk, right? I said, there. So it's not loud. So we gave me a little bit of an argument.
All right,
It's not very good.
they're not doing the right thing. All right, let's go back. We are now after 8:15, so I'm going to open the public hearing or reopen or continue the continued public hearing about the exempting lot line changes abutting real property that do not create a new lot from planning board review and approval. Do I have any public comments on this issue? Any board comments on this issue? We talked about it in great length.
Yes.
All right, this would be, I have it as resolution 85 of 2024. It's 5.8, so we'll get to that in a moment. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now can I get I actually have 5.8 resolution 85 of 2024. Can I get that
So,
resolution on the table?
so moved.
Second.
Okay, any comment? Any question? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our long national nightmare has now ended.
Hold up a second.
I got a lot. We got we're not all done, but we got some of them now. We got a big swath of them out of there now. All right, we did communications. We have department reports. Any reports from the police department? Besides the fact that we're very grateful that they're here tonight, they have some concerns about tonight's meeting, so I appreciate their being here. I know they've been popping in and out. But we have no particular, we have talked to them about the potential for constable, or depending on the terminology, code enforcement officer for quality of life issues. They have been, very supportive of the idea. They want to make sure that we follow certain guidelines with them, and, you know, they don't want a quasi cop on the street, but I totally understand that. And the person, again, would not be armed, we're supporting our local ordinances and not doing other things. So they've been very, very thoughtful, and I want to thank the police department. They have been, in the last year, they have definitely been much more present in the village, and we're grateful that they responded to some of our requests about that. Village administrator report.
The pro housing certification submission is complete,
Oh,
and it looks like we're gonna score pretty high.
good.
Which?
All right, explain, there's a certification that the state put out in January, which identifies you as a pro housing community. You have to do an analysis of any new units that have been built in the last 3 years.
Actually, it goes back to 2018.
2018, so the last 6 years. And you want to certify yourself as being pro housing and pro additional housing. And if you do that, it gives you really, if you don't do it, if you don't get it, then you're going to be really cut out of certain grants. If you get it, then you have a leg up on getting certain grants. So we want to make sure we got that before a lot of the grant processes started for some of the grants that we're going to be going for. And all that we had to do was basically count up the number of units that have been added since 2018, which Manny very painstakingly did, and you went over. And so now the report's done, and now it's supposed to be you either have the certification or you don't. Check it off. But the sense is that there are certain kinds of certifications that will count more depending on your how much you've done to increase the supply of housing in your community. So
It's supposed to be really helpful for the downtown, the DRI.
the DRI would be helpful. I mean, it's something that Governor Hochul really wants people to do. And so if you really want to get some of those discretionary grants, you want to make sure you jump through that particular hoop, which I'm glad that we've done. So that'll be a resolution at the next meeting.
We don't need to do a resolution.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Oh, we don't, just because we have the certification, we don't need the resolution.
Yeah, we have the data to show that we actually are already a pro-housing community.
So let's just do a resolution that way as a memorializing resolution for the application, for the certification. Just get it on there so we can talk about it, that we've done it.
Just a good time.
So it's in the
to
record.
explain to the public again.
The what?
It's probably just a good time to explain to the public.
Yeah,
again.
yeah, it's good to get it in the record that we did it, that as opposed to just the commentary here. All right, anything else from the village administrator?
The
I'm sure-
Broadway sidewalk project is done.
Done. Well, congratulations. And it's just in time to start a new sidewalk project.
No.
It's been an amazing journey. There's been public debate. Going back many years, there have been some missteps. There have been some serious entanglements with underground infrastructure. Unknown faults that existed in front of
Yeah,
certain
the
stores.
vaults, yeah.
It was quite a journey. Some very interesting discoveries made, a lot of patience and accommodation around access issues for local retailers. Some great work by our engineering inspection company and the construction company. It looks like we're basically on budget. I think we're finishing pretty much right on the money. We'll know shortly after we write a few more checks for the engineering services. And I'm just thrilled to report that the sidewalk is beautiful, is ADA compliant. Hopefully lasts a very, very long time. And we can go on to other things.
All right, congratulations. How's things at the park?
The park, as you know, oh my God, I tell you, everybody should go down and look at the new playground if you've been down there. The children are just having a blast on it.
Yeah, I was down
Really
there.
little kids playing with this new equipment. It's just a joy to see.
My granddaughters were here the week before last, and they spent an hour
Yes,
of everything.
it's a joy to see. There's the playground equipment has so many fun little pieces that you don't see at first sight. Like it has a little track that you can roll your Matchbox cars down. It kind of goes around. And the kids have discovered that they started bringing their toys to roll down the track. There's some musical stuff, a little drum, some movable
I
alphabet
didn't see
letters.
any of that. It's interesting.
It's really
Is that smaller structure that's?
I'm talking about the tot lock, the little climber for the little kids.
Yeah,
It has a lot of detail on it, which you have to watch the kids and
you have to be a kid to figure it out.
see what they'll do.
Yeah. It's
That's
clearly
cute.
not for-
So in the pathway is beautiful. People are skating and biking on it and pushing strollers, splash pads operating. The lawn is fully planted. We're working with our contractor on that because there are areas where the grass isn't coming in as much as we'd like. So we're going back and doing some reseeding and some improvement on that. The DPW has done an amazing job building irrigation system, which has been a major undertaking, getting water to the whole expanse of that lawn. Finding out a lot about the different water sources and the different pressures. Right now, we just invested in an automation system because it was costing us a lot of money to manually change the valves and move the water around. So the water's early in the morning and at night. At those times, it conflicts with the splash pad. So, but fortunately, those are times when nobody's using it anyway. But we're gonna actually invest a couple $1,000s in connecting to the water main on Piermont Road so that we can run it independently of the splash pad. So if it gets super hot, we need to water it during the day. We'll be able to do that and continue to get wet at the same time.
Is there gonna be a permanent water sprinkler system?
No, this is not a buried in-ground like turf sports field level. This is just to make sure the lawn is well established.
It's once it's established, naturally, you don't have to water.
Right,
Good.
so.
Yeah, the geese were chasing the geese off and we had luck.
The geese, seem to be mostly on the old grass over by the brook. They
Okay.
do come across and that's annoying. We're experimenting with different kinds of deterrents. Our one thought we have is with the automation of the sprinklers, we'll start spritzing them just sort of randomly during the day to try to drive away the geese if they happen to be out there. But we don't want to overwater the grass because you can get in trouble with that. So we're keeping an eye on the geese. But I am concerned about it, and I've investigated contracts with a couple of different groups. One would apply this kind of sort of deterrent kind of chemical that makes their eyes itch and they fly away. Another is a dog that chases the geese every single day, but they both cost money. We're not sure we really need to spend that money at this point anyway.
We have a dog.
Yeah, they're literally, it's a goose chasing company. They get hired by golf courses and parks and so on. And they bring a herding dog that's trained to chase them out of the park.
Didn't like a long time ago.
Used to blow like a horn or something.
He uses a whistle to control his dog, but they're not.
No,
I think we should get the goose chasing dog and sell tickets for people to watch the goose.
Take bets.
And take bets, like we can, which geese is he gonna get, which goose? Wasn't there a whole thing like years ago in Clarkstown with Charlie Holbrook? Charlie Holbrook, what is he was hunting the geese?
He wanted to get rid of geese, and his frame was that he'll feed them to the homeless.
Oh, wow.
And it did not go over well as a,
He was gonna kill them and feed them to the homeless.
and it was kind of a political.
Yeah, that didn't go, it didn't do so well.
So we're not
Be
proposing,
creative though, you
we're
gotta
not
have.
proposing to kill the geese. We just want them to let our lawn alone.
So I know what not to suggest. So the dog chasing goose totally within the bounds of acceptable
Right.
mayoral suggestion, not the killing the geese and feeding them. to
If
people.
somebody could invent like a kind of a Roomba type of robotic
A
device.
Roomba dog, yeah. a Roomba dog.
Deployed out there, that'd be great.
That would work.
Is it good for the gander as well?
All right, we're getting punchy. It's actually pretty early to get this punchy. Anything else, Andy?
There's a lot of other things I can tell you about, but one of the things I'm concerned about is we had to make some decisions about entertainment add-ons for July 4th. Marley Marl was there last year, he did a wonderful job. He's not sure he can do it this year because he has a lot of costs. He has very specialized, enormous speaker systems. And so I actually want to set him up with a conversation with you, Mayor. You guys can talk about that a little bit.
About
We may need,
compensation.
if we want to have music, we may need to find another option.
Okay,
So,
all right. It's nice to have the music. People get bored sitting out there waiting for the fireworks to start.
and it gives us a PA system we can use for mayoral announcements or safety instructions or whatever, which is nice.
I'm looking forward to making my own announcements to get between people and their fireworks. Hey, everybody. Just a couple of words before we get to the fireworks.
For the 4th of July, extravaganza, can we get a map where you can sit, where you can go?
Yeah, where you can sit, where you can watch and where you can't.
Yeah, I think that would be good to have.
So, I mean, I'll say yes, I mean, basically it's, everybody kind of knows where to go. The
They're not gonna know this year because of the grass closure.
Right.
So we do have to say, we have to just circle the road, circle the gazebo, circle the viewing station, circle the park marina, circle the upper lawn, and then you're good. And then just put a big X through the.
will be on top of the hospital's new garage.
What about Maureen's, do they just sell them, maybe they'll play,
Oh, for
they'll
music,
donate, you know, maybe.
I think a DJ is better, because it's like 3 hours of music, it's a long time for a band club.
If someone wanted to program it with Marley's help or something, but you just need to think about it a little bit. Because it feels like an opportunity,
Right. And that's.
and I don't want it to slip through our fingers.
Couple.
All right,
So let's talk about it, right?
Let me ask this question. Previously, you could not go on the lower section. of The Memorial Park. Because that's where the fireworks. are set.
Right,
Now it's gonna be set off from the park. Is that gonna be open for the public?
yes,
It is.
that's the whole beautiful thing about a barge launch, it's the entire park. But for the closed for construction part is open for public access. That includes the pedestrian bridge, the lower part of the marina, the whole waterfront, the viewing pier, the driveway, the basketball court, all that's open.
And where's the barge tomorrow is gonna be set up?
It'll be about 800 or 1,000 feet offshore.
Directly across from the.
You just straight out, a little past the old wrecked barge there.
It's great.
The sheriff department is gonna do patrol in the water to keep any boaters outside the safety zone. And the fire department will be there and visual support.
I'll be there for sure. We got a front row seat.
Yeah, you can go right out on the viewing pier this time.
Was that?
You can go right out on the viewing pier, actually. Get there early.
All right, anything else?
It's so good and it's so good to know that I can imagine it.
I'll leave it at that.
Village clerk,
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple old business issues.
Before we go,
yes,
something said, I went to the housing authority meeting and, they're working on their budget. And I have a question for you, I guess, Andy. Do they just owe us a budget from 2023? You're like, how many, is it just 1 year or is it 2?
Do they have a 2-year budget?
No, did they
terms of the
submit it?
financial-
They submitted one last year.
Yes. Yeah, annually, the village board approves, not the entire budget, but I believe it's the personnel
They
budget.
sent it to- Right, so we just haven't seen the one for 2024.
We have not received that.
Yeah, I know, because I was asking about it, and he said that they were working on it. So I just wanted to clarify, because somebody had said 2. And I just wanted to make sure it was just one.
Well, when was the last one we saw? What date was this? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
through our minutes
Okay,
she might be right. It might be that we approved it in like
on a 2-year cycle.
fall of 2022 for 23, and then we never saw it in 23, so it's really 23 and 24 that we could be. Or 23, 24, 24, 25, the 2 year, not 2 years, but when if they do their budget.
I don't know
what
what fiscal year they're on, it's calendar, like.
Yeah.
I know, and I think that I just want us to kind of clear that up.
We actually, I think we should have an executive session at the end to talk about some employment for an individual, so we'll do that at the end. I know it's not on the agenda, it doesn't really matter for the public. All right, anything else on that? Okay, and we have the 2 issues that I think we've talked through. Would have to do with you just referenced earlier with regard to the minutes, the discussion about DMU2 as well as the waterfront zone. Where do we stand with those? They're on new business because we're waiting on
We're holding
language.
on, they're on old business because we're holding them there. It's a work in progress by our village attorney.
Okay,
The village board asked for draft legislation. And we don't have that for you yet.
okay, all right, so I'll talk, because I know I want to talk.
So I think Mark Allen, our village planner, did give us.
We have conceptual,
Yeah.
we've seen that a number of times, but we don't have.
It's just something more concrete. I didn't look at the attachment. It looked like Bob together something more. And I take Bob's rough draft and I clean that up and it takes some time. And I've been distracted with these 4 other local laws, still working on that. Post adoption procedure and we'll get that shortly. So yes, I know about the DMU2 and it's front and center on my desk.
Okay. Any comments on those? Anything else?
And there's also the waterfront, and you did provide the markup on it. I think that's a little simpler.
I'll go with that with you.
Yeah, right, I'll reach out to you, right, it's a, both of those are next. To check. As far as local laws,
Yes.
I have other items.
Yeah,
Anyway, you're just lazing around, you have to go to draft the local laws.
What about all that free time you have not going to the zoning board of appeals meetings because they have such a competent chairman? You brought that up. See, now I know you got 2 hours free in a week that
There you go.
we got to take you back on. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for your hard work on all these things we have. 8.1, we have new business, which is the good cause eviction code. That's another thing, actually, Dennis, is currently probably on your desk.
I've been piddling around with it, yes.
Okay. That is, there is, as you know, last month, the state did pass a good cause eviction, which does put limitations regarding rent increases. They're limited to 10% or 5% plus cost of living, or inflation index, and whatever's lower. And it is, I think, the law in New York City, but there's an opt-in for any suburban, any area outside New York City. We would like to opt in. We just need the language to do it. As far as I know, the only municipality that has opted in outside of New York City is Albany. The city of Albany opted in. Anybody else, you know?
I think Ithaca did too.
And Ithaca might have. Okay, Ithaca is also, so we'd like to be one of the first to do it, certainly in Hudson Valley, so hopefully we get that on the agenda for next week as well, we need to have the legislation written to put it as to
So
make sure we have a
we're
public
gonna need to
hearing.
have a discussion once we have this thing ready, because there are two substantive pieces which are up to this board to decide on when adopting that. law.
Okay, so let's tee those up for next time. Okay,
And we've done a little more. Andy, you've been involved. Found some good material.
also just on new business, we did not have it in the agenda, but at some point we are going to close the book on the February vacancy survey. And at the same time, we are going to institute a new vacancy survey. So I know in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna have conversations about how we amend the vacancy survey, perhaps to ensure a clearer and more transparent result. And then let's try to get that on the agenda for next time, because I'd like to, as I said, I really didn't wanna just pull the plug on the old vacancy survey until we were ready to do a new one, and I think that we're ready to do a new one. We've resolved that the TRO got turned down.
The lawsuit has been dismissed in federal. Federal lawsuit. The lawsuit that was filed against us, I think it was federal. Has been
Is
dismissed.
the lawsuit was dismissed or just the preliminary?
Oh, you didn't,
I didn't see the
where's the
lawsuit.
TRO, then like a week or two later, the whole thing?
The whole thing was dismissed. Oh, well, that's good. All right, so let's get going on the new vacancy survey now that they lost.
We, that our outside counsel does expect an appeal
Well, of course.
by the losers. The lawsuit.
Who are not, for the record, us.
The losers of the lawsuit.
Hey, they're not like
An appeal is expected, so there always is that risk that the dismissal in the lower court would be.
Yeah, but in the meantime, let's get the vacancy survey done.
So was it dismissed with prejudice?
But it is gets dismissed with prejudice,
Okay.
but that's what the appeal is.
Okay, that's why there's.
Dismissed on the merits.
They have dismissed on the merits, but now they have appeal. If they lose on the appeal, then it's,
So, okay,
well, then they have another appeal to the
The
court.
survey does need to be tweaked, not only to clarify, like you said, Mr. Mayor, but the ETPA, as you all know, has been amended yet again, just like a month and a half ago. It was amended again, just to clarify a few things, it took away. I think it was $1,000 penalty, it's now, it's less, I don't know.
Well, send me the survey again, the one, the old one, and I'll take a look at
Yeah,
it.
wait, it just needs to be, it's just, the survey needs to be updated with the current ETPA.
Okay. All right.
They amended it twice in the past few months.
Same questions, same clarification.
I don't think the questions are going to change. It's just the warnings that if you don't answer, this happens, and this is the penalty. I think that those were the most significant changes. The penalty would be, and there may have been one mechanical tool that may have been modified. Anyway, Andy and I need to look at the most recent version of the ETPA and make sure our questionnaire, our letter comply with the law.
Yes.
Any updates with regards to site agreement?
No, nothing new on that, just languishing. We just have lost some momentum on it, but I'll have an update for that by the next meeting, before the next meeting. Anything else on any of that? Because eviction, all right, we're up to public comment. Public comments on any, we've had some people waiting for a while, very patiently. Do we have a list?
Yes, I have Lauren Sachs.
Is this a 1 minute or 3 minutes?
3 minutes. We've got, we said, depending on the number of people, it's not that many people. You say it was Lauren Sachs?
Yes.
I'm a resident of Nye. And I
Just speak up just a little bit. Get the air conditioning on.
I understand that the council has dismissed the ceasefire resolution as not a local issue, but as someone who expects my council to represent me, and as a resident of Nyack, whose tax dollars are being used to wage this war, it is a local issue. I do believe that this is the way that we can change things.
Yes, sorry.
I do believe that this is the way that we can change things with the system that we have and by trusting our local governments. So as a Nyack resident, I'm asking you to reconsider your opinion of the ceasefire resolution as a local issue. 40,000 of people have died and more than 2 million have been displaced. And I do believe that now is the time to call for a ceasefire, and this shouldn't be a problematic thing for the village. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was it.
That was it for sign up? I know we have some other people here. Would anybody like to make public comment? Nobody else here to make public comment? All right. And I'll close public comment. Our last items, we are going to go into an executive session for purposes of the discussion, the employment of a particular person. And when we get back, I believe we adjourn, we'll adjourn the executive session, and then we'll adjourn the public meeting. We'll take no action after the executive session, so you all don't have to worry about coming back. And to answer, I want to appreciate, thank you for coming, thank you for sharing your thoughts. We won't be making a decision now from the board, but we do discuss it when people bring this to us. We do discuss it individually afterwards to see if there's any movement on that. But I appreciate your passion for your cause and for sharing your thoughts with us in a constructive way. So thank you for coming. And all right, so can I get a motion to go to executive session?